Hello, hello, and welcome into another episode of the Digital Quill podcast with your host, Mars Wilson. How are you doing today? Please answer in the comments now while I look over my notes real quick. I actually mean it sincerely when I ask that question. I don't mean the American bullshit way of asking that question. I genuinely want to know what you're doing and how you are. Be a human being and tell me. It's the only way I know you're not a bot. And you don't want to be classified in the same class as a bot, do you? You have thoughts and emotions and hopes and wishes and aspirations. Bots don't have those things, at least not yet. Bots don't have those things. And in the reality I'd like to paint, bots don't have those things. So classify yourself as a human being and declassify yourself as a bot. How are you, fellow human being? Today is day one, week one, of me not having my phone on Mondays. What does that mean, you might ask? Well, it means just that. There have been an influx of people I've learned about that turn their phone off one day per week. A full 24-hour cycle period, one day per week. And I'm like, taking a mental and physical assessment of my life and everything in it, and I'm like, well, I don't really want to turn my phone off on Sundays, which would make sense to turn it off on, because technically Sunday's a day of rest and relaxation. It's like the first start of the week in a way. I think Monday's the start of the week. I feel like Sunday is still part of the weekend, but truly, when you sit back and think about it, Sunday is the beginning part of the week. So why is Sunday the day of rest? Why do we take the first day to rest? Well, I don't know. I don't really care about that right now. I'll debate about that later on, or deliberate over that later on. But what I do care about is choosing a day that I turn my phone off for a full 24-hour cycles, because you guys hear me complain about it, right? I'm not a big fan of being on my phone 24/7 or online 24/7 in general. Even if it is for work, or inspiration, or art, or entertainment. But, let's see. I decided on Mondays. Because Mondays I'm usually home. Usually. And I don't have much to do. About nothing. And where's my drink? Just a reminder, none of my episodes are sponsored. Literally anything I make monetarily wise is from the help of you guys. Which, if you hail from a different site, thank you for your services. I appreciate you very much. You keep me alive. A lot more than I care to admit. I settled on Mondays because I'm like, I'm not doing anything on Mondays. Mondays would be a good day to have my phone off and just use my laptop for work and stuff. And I'm like, okay, fine. Last week was supposed to be my first day. It was not. And I made a TikTok about that. And I was upset. Still mildly upset about that. I had values that I wanted to stick to, and I completely obliterated them. All of the values I had just went outside the door. I literally held the door open, and I'm like, here, values, go ahead and just walk out that door. I don't like when I do that. It eats away at my very fiber of my being when I do stuff like that. And hence, today being week one, day one. God, it felt nice. Sorry. I just have to... It felt so nice. I turned my phone off right before I went to bed last night. I literally, pressed the power button, and I'm like, power off. And I saw it shut down, and I'm like, me. I woke up this morning around 4 or 5 o'clock, like my normal time, especially if I go to bed at a decent hour. And even if I don't, I'll wake up at 4 or 5. That's amazing. Anyway, woke up around 4 or 5,
didn't look at my phone because I couldn't. I had immediately thought about it. I'm like, look at phone? Oh yeah, phone off. Me, 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 me. Me, 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 me. I went back to bed for about an hour because I was like, phone off. Me, me, me. Me, 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 me. Me, me. And I hope that's entertaining for you. And I woke up about an hour later around 6. And I was like, I didn't have an urge at all to look at my phone like I did the first time I woke up. And I was like, oh, I can live. It was brilliant.
What time is it?
9 o'clock. It has been 3 hours since I officially woke up. I'm still kind of tired. I'm still nursing this thing. This thing is over half full and warming up by the second, and I'm going to have to throw it in the freezer and hope I don't forget about it. Turn your phone off once a week. That is my unsolicited advice to you. Turn off your phone once a week. Just 24 hours. And if you can't handle that because you have kids or family or emergencies or whatever,
I'm sorry.
12 hours? Hell, turn it off when you go to bed at night. Actually, I cracked the code. I know what to do to stop getting technology to eat up every second of our brains and souls. Turn your phone off when you go to bed. Just power it all the way off. Just grab the phone that you are currently doom scrolling on as you fall asleep and go to the little top gear icon, scroll down, hit the power button, and turn it off while you sleep. It does not need to be the first thing you check first thing in the morning. But what about an alarm clock? There's this thing, and I'm going to have to hold your hand when I say this. Here, take my hand. There's this thing called an alarm clock. It was invented before cell phones had alarms on them. You might have forgotten about it because you entered a new timeline where those clocks still exist, but they aren't popular anymore. They're really cheap at Goodwill. Goodwill has like hundreds of them. I have 3. If you need one, I have one. I actually got those clocks a couple years ago for a different reason. So toward the end of the year, I like celebrating more paganistic kind of holidays because I don't have family to celebrate traditional Christmas with anymore, and I hate what Christmas has become. Christmas is a corporatistic, capitalistic hellscape of nonsense. So I like the more traditional, of the earth and of the people types of traditions. So the longest night of the year, which I will be doing again. When is the longest night of the year? Let me look that up real quick because it changes. It might, I mean, it's always around the same time, but longest night of the year, 2025. It's the 21st again. And it's a Sunday? Ooh, sweeties, we have our winter solstice on a Sunday this year. Cool. Very cool. I like that. I like them apples quite a bit. Speaking of apples, there is no one I know that's going to want to do this, is there? Okay. This is not in my notes, and this is entirely a sidestep. But backstory as to one of the reasons why I have found I enjoy turning my phone off for extended periods of time and not being reached by anybody.
Or anything.
And also not wasting my time with doom scrolling because, oh my god, how much of that time do I do? A lot. So much. Press F to pay respects in chat. Anyway, one year, a couple years ago, I decided to do a ritualistic kind of thing. It's more of a holding vigil. So, a long, long time ago, back when the music was actually good. Bye, bye, Miss American Pie. Drove my Chevy to the left. Sorry. I have vocal stems that mostly involve music sometimes, and it sucks. Because anyway, lost my train of thought. Thank you, vocal stem, for derailing me. Where are you, thought? Where are you, thoughts? Why can't I see you? Come back to me, please. No? Okay, fine. Once upon a time, a couple years ago, I decided to hold vigil because there's a weird old tradition, pagan-ish tradition, where on the longest night of the year, you celebrate. You reign in with your friends and family. You eat food, you sing songs, you keep the fire stoked and going because it is the longest and darkest night of the year. The point is to kind of like hold vigil for that. There's a lot of different stories as to why this can be. I think one of my favorite ones that I read was actually something along to do with like harvest and I don't know. I'll have to craft my notes on that for another episode, probably closer to the actual 21st of December. Which, speaking of, I did that a couple years ago, and I think I did that last year. Both years I ended up falling asleep right before dawn because I was the only one awake, eating stew and lighting a candle. By the way, this is also an event where you don't use any technology. So when you hold vigil for the solstice, all electronics are off. All phones, all lights, all everything. I mean everything. If it buzzes, it's off. If it's electric, it's off. You use candles and fire and food. That is it. No electricity. Which means I have to prepare the stew beforehand. And then I might have to eat it cold because I actually want to go all out this year. I could go camping, but I don't know anyone who'd want to go camping, possibly in the snow. And I don't think we have the ability to build a giant bonfire. State troopers or state park ranger people might have a problem with that. Although if I had my own property in the middle of nowhere, I'm thinking out loud, I'm sorry. Anyway, next, thoughts, feels, and why. Did I cover the thoughts and feelings as to why? Yes. Turning your phone off is actually also really good for your health. I don't know if you realize this, but cell phones in the way that we have them in our hands 24/7 is very, very new. Okay? It's less than 30 years old. Like, do you know when the first smartphone was released to the public? I remember when it was the newfangled, brand new, spanking technology. First smartphone year. 1994, technically. But, smartphone history. I'll add this article that I'm about to read into here. Apple joins the game. The first smartphone, 2008. The first Android smartphone. The earliest smartphone apps. Oh, wow. That is an interesting evolution. The first smartphone as we know it now wasn't until like 2007. 20 years? 2007, 17, that's 10, and then 27 would be... Holy shit. Well then, yeah, less than 30 years old. Wow, that makes me feel both young and old at the same time. I hate that. I don't know if I'm gonna like where technology is gonna go. I'm gonna love it. Because progression, especially if it's beneficial to everyone. Another note I'd like to note, when did Microsoft Paint get AI features? It really is everywhere. It's on Google, it's on your phone, it's implemented into your phone, it's in your TVs. It's at the drive-thru. It's at the drive-thrus. Oh my god, AI has reached the drive-thrus. Call centers? I don't understand life anymore. Capitalism is ruining everything. Cry about it. I don't know. Ooh. Now, I am going to start doing more Let's Plays. I actually have a live stream for Minecraft scheduled tonight at 5:30 on Twitch. Join me over there. By the time you see this, actually, I'm scheduling this for around 11ish. On Wednesday, I will probably have 5 episodes recorded this week. Yeah, 5 episodes recorded this week. That's what I have scheduled. So Wednesday, I'm going to be talking about movies and stuff I watched over the weekend. Before we move on to brand new topics, let me go over here to the Unsealed community, because in 2 days from now, we actually have a challenge that is due. And it is very similar to the previous challenge. Let me screen share, actually. Solo plus desktop. Okay. To the door that closed, I am happy you did. Sometimes rejection feels crushing in the moment. A job you didn't get, a dream you worked for that didn't happen, or a city you hoped to move to but couldn't. Ouch. But with time, those closed doors can reveal themselves as blessings, guiding us toward opportunities, people, and paths we were truly meant for. Write a letter or a poem to a door that closed in your life. Share why you're grateful it did, what you learned from it, and how it helped lead you to something better. I almost feel like this one, which, by the way, this one is the one that's due, in 2 days from now. Right. I have 2 days to finish that deadline. How great. Fantastic. Can't wait. Log me in so I can see my previous one. Oh, notifications. Neat. We'll have to check those later. The Unsealed is actually a really, really, really neat community. It's probably, out of all the communities I filter in and out of every now and again, this one is probably, I don't want to say my favorite, but I want to say that if I don't know how to explain this. Let's see. Write a letter or poem to the chapter you are closing. That is not what I was looking for. Read more. I know I've read this before, but because it is pretty much write a letter or poem to the chapter you are closing versus write a letter or poem to the chapter you are closing versus to the door that closed, I am happy you did. They're the same thing, no? They're the same thing, no? Yes, kind of, sort of. The Omni-Seeker's Quest for Knowledge. Chapters X through XX. By the way, X through XX are meant to be as placeholders, not Roman numerals. Dear reader, in the following pages, we have a story for the ages. The show must go on, so this won't take long. Sit back, drink some tea, and remember, you won't always be full of glee. Dear reader, you may have started a quest and you are wondering what to do next. When you turn the page, our text will help you weave your own tale. These are all true excerpts from the School of Hard Knocks, which is a concept I talk about sometimes in my writing. Sometimes we find ourselves tripping and falling without really knowing where we are going. Sometimes we open doors that we should have kept shut, leave windows cracked, and some bats flop in. And sometimes we build bridges that might need higher tolls than previously given. Across lots of time, words unwind, some mantras remain true, and new choices guide you. In chapters X through XX, many short moons ago, there was a long and short chapter filled with love and laughter. As 27 passes yet another year, something weary grows near. Another 27 years to endure, I have no fear. But there were some things that we just don't say. I can never do what I learned today. Some chapters close, some pages tear. This may cause a little despair. Photos fade, bones return to dust, and shadow overtakes the day. Excuse me. I wonder if I should swap those S's. Writing, speaking, and knowledge too. These things control you. The Omni-Seeker knows home inside of rabbit holes, but also that the best way to end a story is to start it in the first place. New chapters are like spring. To sum it all up, dear reader, I'm 27 years old now. I've lived 27 lives in 27 years in 27 ways with 27 different people. I don't think I would make it past 25, or didn't think I would make it past 25. And now that I'm alive, what's up? Have you started your story yet? Write down a few words on the page and we can start there. Let my story help you craft your tale, bit by bit, line by line, and time after time, forged in flame and fire. Kind of wonder if I should switch fire and flame. Fueled by desire and devotion to every motion of the waves as they pull me in this ocean. I know you want to know just what I mean by each and every line. All I can say is this: you had to be there each and every time. I'm defining and undefining things all around me. I'm planning and plotting and chasing and churning like the sea. I'm stumbling into change, grasping blindly for growth, and I guess, while memories fade to black, while pages curl at the edges, while we all turn back to dust, we've lived and lost, all while losing and living. When the words begin to fade, when the light goes away, and when the curtain has been shut tight for the last time, the story goes on in another time and place. Each chapter comes to its ultimate resting place. Love and loss lead the chase. So I already know what my letter poem thing is going to be. In a way. Again, I have 2 days to figure this out. And I was thinking about it yesterday, staring at this page. And I'm like, I see. The last poem letter thing, the Omni Seeker's Quest for Knowledge, was a bit all over the place, and I intended that because there were multiple chapters I was closing. But this one feels like it needs to be a little more pointed. To the chapter I closed, to the door that I closed, I'm happy you did. I'm happy I did. When we have tomorrow's episode, or probably Wednesday's episode, I will share it with you, what I have come up with. But it will not be before then. Let's see. Let me mark off the unsealed. Click. Let me do the week 1, day 1 of phone. Click. Talked about the Let's Play and the Minecraft Monday and the Watch Wednesday. There are 2 movies in specific I'm gonna talk about on Wednesday. If you are in the Phoenix area, find me on Discord. And let's see. My current thoughts on guest episodes as the last point to wrap all of this up. I am going to have a little bit of guest episodes before the end of the year. I'm not going to have very many, mostly because it is now the end stretch of 2025. We are in the later half of October. Most of the time, toward the end of the year, people get busy with family and holiday stress and just the end of the year hubbub. I am probably going to have at max, if I can schedule it, time and schedules and life and humans permitting, 5-ish more episodes with other people. 2026 is going to be a different story. I don't know what that looks like yet. I haven't exactly planned that. But I have decided that as much as I would love to have every episode with another person, when I started this, as I've stated in other episodes before, I knew that wasn't going to be a reality. I knew a lot of this was going to have to be solo. This is Mars's public speaking career, not Mars and everyone else's public speaking career. And this is just the start. I mean, this is episode 77. We have made 77 episodes since March of 2025. That is That is an interesting amount of consistency that I am not used to. So yes, I do want... Most of me having or wanting guests on this is because I want my handheld. I'm a baby. You've heard it here and now. I am a fucking idiot sometimes. Sometimes I think it'll just be better if I have someone to guide and steer me. Again, this is my show and my life and my job and my want. If I'm waiting for the approval of other people, I'm never gonna do what I want to do. Take that as a piece of advice. And also, final point before we end today. I was talking about this with a friend of mine and a couple friends of mine. I forget how many friends of mine at this point. Anyway, at some point I do want to get to a point where there's like a community network. And I know you're probably thinking, but Mars, that already exists. There's the World Wide Web and Discord and Facebook groups, and I get that. But this is actually something that I started like coming to terms with a couple years ago with someone I was seeing for a little bit. Watching them struggle with social media and promoting and just community engaging. There are some people who can handle it, who can do the daily grind and post 2 to 3 times a day, 7 days a week. Some people can. Other people have jobs and kids and burnout and social batteries and other types of batteries and just content creation and survival in this world. As I've said before, everyone, it takes a village. It doesn't just take a village to raise kids. It takes a village in general. It takes a village to survive. It takes a village to prosper. It takes a village because humans are not, what are we not? Oh yeah, solitary animals. We have individual personalities, yes. That's what makes the village great. Our individual traits, our individuality make the collective so much more better because if everything was the same across the board, cookie cutter garbage, I mean, it would look a lot like that one episode of Fairly Odd Parents where everything was gray and the only way Timmy was able to find Cosmo and Wanda was because he was able to turn a cake into a hat. If you have not seen that episode of Fairly Odd Parents from way back when, probably 2000 something, go watch it. I'm sure it's available somewhere. It's a very, very deep cartoon episode for a kids show, and I still think about that 20 years later. Read The Giver too. The Giver is also a great book. The reason it is banned is actually kind of silly. I feel like it's a different reason, but hey, that's just my opinion, and that doesn't mean much. I am not a scholar, or I don't know, I'm just me. I want to create a community network where people who do have burnout and do want to do things like writing books or streaming or music or insert anything that you kind of need the internet to promote and gain any sort of monetary living income off of. Art, entertainment, graphic design, anything you could attach a link to or buy now or a art or you know what I mean. People doing people things. That's one of my taglines. I want to create a way where we can have like almost like a shared password or something system where if we have an idea for someone else's content and we can like add a spark to it to like get the algorithm flowing a little bit, we could be like, okay, I can make a short right now. Like I know some sites have like that implemented, like with YouTube, there's shorts, you can remix things. On TikTok, there's duetting and stitching and sharing the stories. There's even using people's sound bites. Same thing with YouTube. On Twitter X, you can repost. Like there are ways to do that, but There's gotta be a way to, like, really amplify that and, like, flip the fucking tables, because I'm tired of bots being in my comment sections and in my views. And I'm tired of having 11.3k followers on TikTok, where I'm only certain, like, 2,000 of them, maybe a little bit more, are actual people. Thank you, 2018, for getting me that many followers. That's one of the reasons why I hate social media. Disenchanted with it all. I learned way too much, way too fast, and I still don't know enough. I just want to help people live lives that they love and live it powerfully and, like, prosperously. I want people to be able to have homes and raise families if they want, and just create, because we're getting to an age where we are going to have questions about what can we do with our jobs if computers and robots can take most of the jobs over. Like, I don't know if you guys have been to a Sam's Club lately. The people element of customer service is slowly dying. You are starting to see less and less people interaction in department stores and stuff like that. It's interesting. I don't like it, but also it is kind of just the way things are going to start going if, you know, we can get humans to a point of prosperity. I'd like to do that in a good way. I don't want to keep seeing famine and war and substance abuse issues. Humans need to be able to create and live and not just survive, coming from a state of consistent survival since wombhood. Wombhood. Womb emergence hood. Before womb emergence hood. I don't know. By the way, that was my least favorite hood. Not adulthood. Adulthood's interesting. Wombhood was my least favorite hood. Take me back to before conception. I'm kidding. Dark humor joke for you there. But anyway, I have my games loaded up. I have 400 other tasks to do today. I have articles to try to write and push out this week. Might be a next week thing. I have a book to finish writing. And yeah, thank you for being human and existing, humans of Earth. I appreciate you popping into this episode with the Digital Cool Podcast. I, again, am your host, Mars Wilson. We talk about random topics from philosophy to theology to anything and everything in between. Gaming, news, people, philosophy. I don't know. Sorry, I can't think. Thank you for tuning in again. Keep going. Drink water. Remember to breathe. To go out and do a people thing. Check out my friends' socials, because in my link tree, I have my friends do things. It's literally the first tab, I think. It's the first tab. It should be the first tab. If it's not, I gotta change that. Anyway, yeah. Thank you for, yeah. And, bye.